Doctor, first of all, welcome back from Hoima, where Sejjusa made his way back to Uganda. What is your take on his return?
Well, I think he's most welcome back home. Whatever will change this place will have to take place here, not anywhere else. It will not be done by other people. It will be done by Ugandans here. So if there is anybody who says he intends to do something about changing this country, the place to be is here, not anywhere else. So I'd be glad that any Ugandan who wants to have an influence on what goes on in this country is here. I do not know what circumstances advised the general to come back. I'm sure he'll talk about that himself. But for me, I think there is only one interpretation of that return, and that can only be that the regime is weak. The Museveni regime is weak, from whichever way you look at it. Those who would want to look at it as a case where General Sejjusa has been compromised by the regime to come back, it would mean that the regime is very weak. For it to go out of its way to compromise a general who has been very loudly, very clearly outspoken, who has revealed a lot of useful information about the regime's evils, and the regime gets to a situation where it wants to compromise him. It would show the extent to which the regime is vulnerable, to which the regime is weak, to which the regime is anxious to contain what he is doing. So from that angle, those who would consider that angle, it would be an angle that shows a regime weakness. If he came back to continue with the struggle, it would still show how the regime is weak. How the regime is weak in the form that, a short while back, they were anxious that he doesn't come back. They literally put tanks on the tarmac to stop his return, and deployed at the airport and all kinds of things to stop his return. So if they feel that his being outside is more dangerous than his being here, and therefore they say, please, you come, we don't mind, you come, and challenge us from here, I think it would still show that it's a regime in crisis. So for me, either way, I am glad that weakness is being exposed to the Ugandans. Now, I have talked with General Sejjusa a number of times while he was in the UK. And I am convinced that he knows what faces this country in terms of the dictatorship that we have. I am convinced that he knows that this country needs liberation and that it is the most important and urgent duty that Ugandans have. I'm convinced he knows that. And if he has come back to continue with the liberation struggle, he will be my ally. He will continue to be my ally. Whatever he was doing while outside there in challenging the dictatorship, I have openly said, I associate with it. Whoever challenges the dictatorship in whatever form is an ally. Even if that person chose to use the means that I don't favor, but he is using the means to deal with the dictatorship, he is still an ally. So if General Sejjusa is back to continue to join the forces that are fighting for liberation here, he will be our ally, and we shall work with him in every way. If he is back to undermine that struggle, then he will fall into the same category as we treat the regime. We shall, continue, we shall fight against him. So for us, what defines friends and foes is what you are doing, not what you are saying, because I am very much aware that in this country, many people say things they don't mean or things they don't intend to do. And, there are people who don't say anything but do things that are meaningful to the struggle. So what I consider as critical is what you do. And therefore, we shall know what Sejjusa is from what he does, not so much from what he says. But if he has come back to join the liberation struggle, we shall be together in the trenches. We shall see him from what he's doing. And as I have said, he will be our ally in that case. If he does things that undermine the struggle, that support the dictatorship, then he will be our foe. That is all I can say. But either way, I think he's welcome back home. Namkaribisha nyumbani kabisa.
Doctor, if you see the way he came back, it was a surprise to many of Ugandans. But if you compare the way you came back from South Africa and the way government treated you, right from you stepped on the Ugandan soil, and the way he was treated, he was received by a serving officer in the UPDF. How do you take it?
Well, I think we were comparing unlike things. First of all, for me, I was not an official of the government when I left. I was, a private citizen. I had already challenged Museveni in a national election. I was leading a political party, a registered political party, when I came back. In the case of General Sejjusa, he's still a serving military officer. He left as the coordinator of intelligence in this country. I don't know whether he has relinquished that post or whether he's still the coordinator of intelligence. He left having made certain statements that, I think rubbed the regime the wrong way, which led to the closure of the monitor and all kinds of things. So, I think his return could not be the same as my return. What the regime intends to do, don't forget that even me, when I came, though I was not met by anybody from the regime, but they didn't attempt to grab me at the airport. I came, I addressed people in Kampala, I went up country to Arua, to where I was arrested, I think, after about 2 weeks. So I don't know what is in store for him. We are yet to see what the regime intends to do. As I have said, I don't know what transpired between him and any people in the regime before he came back. I don't know. He is the best person to explain. In my case, there was none. I simply stated that I'm coming on this day. Everybody was aware, the regime was aware, the country was aware, and I came. So I think we are comparing different things. But what is critical is not all those gymnastics of going out or coming in. What is critical really is what one sets out to do. And as I have said, for me, the litmus test is what he does while here. If he acts to challenge the dictatorship, if he acts to support the liberation struggle, he will be an ally of all the people who are involved in the struggle. And as I have said, I am completely persuaded that he knows the task at hand. He knows. So if he chose to defect, it would not be because he doesn't know. He knows what it is that this country needs. And we shall therefore see what he intends to do about it. And that's what the country should judge him on. I have been seeing a lot of talk on the social media, condemning him for returning. I don't think that is a good approach to the situation, because whoever really wants to liberate this country must come here. And I have nothing to suggest that he has not come for that purpose. He could have come for that purpose, and I would be, happy that he comes and pursues that objective. So I think anybody seeking to make any judgment on him should do so on his actions. As I've said, I must repeat again, not so much on what he says. Because I mean, we all know that the former Prime Minister, Amama Mbabazi, has been saying he doesn't intend to contest against President Museveni. He has, been either silent or simply saying, I'm not intending to contest. But if you see what is in town, in Nambo, it's like there is war. So it's not so much what one says. Even when you don't speak, it can speak. No speaking may be a lot of statements. So I'm not concerned myself about what one says with the mouth. I'm concerned about what one does. And since my brother is here, I'm sure we shall be talking. If I could talk to him when he was in Europe, there's no problem talking to him when he's here. I will ride to Zimbabwe and and talk to him and see what is coming, what he intends to do. Yeah.
Doctor, if you see the statements that before he left, that the letter he left behind, talking about the Mhoz project, which robbed the government in the wrong way, do you see him probably, do you see the regime probably summoning, especially the Army Council, because that's where the whole contention started?
Well, I don't know. They, said that he would have to answer, he was committing treason. They have said many things that they have alleged many crimes that he has committed. It's up to them. I think that's why I say, the best thing he has done is here. So again, what the government can do can no longer be in words. If they want to do anything, he's here. If they want to charge him, let them charge him, and he will defend himself. He's a good lawyer. He will defend himself. He came back quite obviously knowing very well what the regime has been saying. And so I think, it's a challenge for the regime. It's a strong challenge for the regime that either the regime, because of the weaknesses that I've talked about, because of being so weak, cannot do anything. So if it tries to do something, maybe it will have problems. So we will see. It's a test for everyone.